Can you go camping in the middle of your work week? Yes, you can, but you've definitely got to have your vehicle packed when you go to work. And of course, you have to get through your workday. But once 5 o'clock hits, buddy, you better run to your car. Welcome to the weeknight campout. I'm at a state park about 1 hour from my workplace. I just finished setting up camp. I got a tarp up, table and a chair, and then a kitchen table as well next to my cooler. Got a camp stove on top of that. Having set up camp, it is definitely time to crack a beer. After that, and in a little bit, I'm gonna cook up some brats on the camp stove. A little later, if the wind calms down, I think we're gonna have a campfire. In the morning, I'll have breakfast and coffee at the campsite before I get back into town to go to work. I gotta be there by 8:30, so we're gonna see if we can make that happen. Stick with me, it's gonna be a fun Thursday night. .55 degrees and breezy this evening. We've got Coors, the banquet beer, today. I'll have some beer facts to share with you about this later on. Now, I want to kind of explain myself here because I realize that some of you are probably asking, why? Why go camping during your work week? First and foremost, it's about time. A lot of times I just don't have the ability to get out and camp on the weekends. I have a son, an 8-year-old son who's in soccer tournaments. I have a wife and friends, and we make plans. So especially when it comes to anything last minute, it's really difficult for me to get out on the weekend. Some of my weeknights are busy, of course, but usually I can find a night or two in the course of the week that's an option for camping. One of the other key factors here, at least in the Midwest, is that campgrounds are often busy on the weekends to the point where sometimes they're booked out months and months. If you have the flexibility to camp during the week, sometimes you can get really awesome sites that you would otherwise have to book out like 6 months in advance. That goes to another point that typically it's pretty quiet. Now, I've got a guy over here with a dog. That's going to happen in the type of state park that I'm in. But still, there's probably only about 20 or 30% of these sites taken right now. On the weekend, it's very close to 100%. Another big thing that's really important for me is the ability to kind of escape the grind a little bit, get away from the routine of just getting up every day, getting ready, going to work, coming home, eating dinner, sitting on the couch. It gives me a day every once in a while or an evening every once in a while where I can change that up. Instead of going home, I'm going to the campground. I'm going to sit here and enjoy some quiet time by myself as I look off into the woods. I'm sure I could list other reasons if I really thought about it, but that's generally the why in terms of why I do the weeknight campout. All right, so as promised, we've got brats. Bratwurst, German for finely chopped meat, that's brat, and Wurst, sausage. Finely chopped meat sausage. Sounds delicious. We're gonna make 2 of these, and the first thing we're gonna do is boil them in beer and some other delicious things. They're gonna go in cold because that's gonna make them less likely to burst. We don't want any bursting sausages. All right, in goes our banquet beer. Let's see if 1 is gonna be enough. Yeah, that's gonna be enough. Okay, what we have here is chopped white onion. And then we've got some seasoning. This is crushed red pepper, salt, black pepper, garlic seasoning. Boiling, so I'm gonna turn this down. Looks like a simmer to me. I'm gonna let it do that for, I don't know, 12 minutes maybe. You know what? How about while we're waiting for those to simmer, we do our beer facts. Got our brats simmering over there. It's time for a new segment on the channel, and that segment is called Beer Facts. As we've been over today, we're drinking Coors Banquet beer in a stubby bottle. Here's your beer facts for Coors Banquet. It was first brewed in Golden, Colorado in 1873. Why is it called banquet beer? Because the miners in that area, after they would get off their shift, they would go to these parties or events or whatever the case that were held for them after their shift, probably to keep them happy because otherwise they were in mines all day. And this Coors beer is the beer that was offered at those events. Those events were called banquets. So they began to refer to this as the banquet beer. And thus today, it's the banquet beer. Another fun fact here is that for a long time, before my lifetime, I was born in 1986, but for a long time, Coors was only available west of the Mississippi. So it wasn't available in the U.S. eastern states. So it was something that was frequently smuggled from the west to the east. When I read about this, it reminded me a little bit of Yuengling. Yuengling is available in Ohio now, but for a long time it wasn't. It's made in Pennsylvania, and it was a thing. Every time you went to Pennsylvania, you came back to Ohio with Yuengling. It was just like the mystique. We couldn't get it, right? And at the time, we thought, this is the best beer in the world. And I do like Yuengling, but it's fine. Anyways, in relation to that smuggling, Coors was the inspiration for the 1977 movie Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, the plot is smuggling Coors across the United States. Okay, the stubby, the brown bottle, it was used from approximately 1930 to 1950, reintroduced in 2013, just a throwback, a nod to the past, if you will. And finally, it is still, to this day, brewed with 100% Rocky Mountain water. No, this is not an ad for Coors. This is Beer Facts. Thank you for coming. Thank you. It's a beautiful night in the woods. A beautiful night in the woods. A beautiful night in the woods. It's a beautiful night in the woods. It's a beautiful night for beers and brats. It's a beautiful night in the woods. Put them over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to be topping these bad boys off with some spicy beer whole grain mustard and some of the onions, of course. Grilled onions on there. Spicy beer mustard. What do we think? I think I did good. Let's eat. All right. Gets a score out of 10. Can't be serious right now. Number one, everything tastes 25% better in the woods. Number two, absolutely delicious. The brats themselves are really good, really flavorful. Grilled onions, really tasty. A spicy beer mustard is legit spicy. Has a really good, strong flavor to it. So it's kind of three things with a pretty strong flavor, but they complement and balance each other really well. I'm gonna give them a 9.4. There's no cheese, so I can't give anything a 10 unless it has cheese as an ingredient. No, they're delicious. I'm gonna eat them. I'll be back with you in a few. Well, I ate the brats. Now I'm mad that I didn't cook the entire package, but I am trying to live past 50, and I think generally speaking you should keep your brat consumption at under 3 if one desires an over 50 life. That's at least what the American Medical Association says. Find the link below. Let's start a fire. What do you say? This is a fat wood. Campfires are good for the soul. I'm going to enjoy this one. In a few minutes, I'll be back. We talked about the why of the weeknight camp out. Next, I'll give you a couple tips on the how. If you are still here, do me a favor. Give me a like, write a comment. Tell me if you've ever been camping during your work week. If you're not subscribed, why not subscribe? We're going to do more of these. I also go backpacking. I do some fishing. I do some urban hiking as well. I got one of those trips coming up that I'm really excited about. I'll be back in just a second. We'll talk about the how of the weeknight campout. How do you go camping during your work week? Well, you just go. Easy enough, right? But I've got some tips for you. First, I do this about every other week. And about a week ahead of time, I start looking at the weather. I start looking at my work calendar, what's going on at home. And I use that to pick what I think is the best day. Some days I'm able to leave work just a few minutes early, but I don't plan for that. I don't plan on coming in late. But certainly days where I don't have a ton of stuff at the end of the day is a good day to depart for this. And when I don't have a ton of stuff the next morning, it's a good day for me to plan my return to work. I mentioned it at the top of the video, right? You gotta pack in advance. If you're trying to come home from work and then pack all your stuff, it's just not gonna work, in my experience. So what I do is a few days in advance, I start making my list. I have kind of a master camping list, and then I add and subtract things based on what I'm doing. So a good example is if I was planning to cook over the campfire, I would have brought tools for that. I wouldn't have brought my propane stove or a bottle of propane. But there's certain stuff I'm always gonna bring, like the camp chair, for instance, or my little fire bin of fire starting tools. So I have this master list, and then I add and subtract based on the specifics of what I'm trying to do. So a few days in advance, I kind of start making my list, start getting things together. And the night before, I am going to be completely packed so that I can depart straight from work and drive to the campsite. Third is kind of intuitive, right? You gotta find someplace somewhat close. This is about the farthest I will go, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Otherwise, if you're arriving at the campsite and it's already dark, you just don't have enough time to relax, kind of settle into the camp. So find someplace within an hour or so, an hour and a half. And I live in central Ohio. I don't live next to a national park or national forest. It's not like I live in a wonderland of delights for the outdoors person, right? I live in a suburb surrounded by cornfields, but there are state parks, and that's where I'm at today, is a state park. I will also stay at hip camps, where you can reserve spots on people's private land. And between state parks and hip camps, I've got tons of options within about an hour of home. Number 4, late sunsets are awesome. The sunset today was at 8:33 p.m. The latest it's going to get for us this year in 2025 is June 20th, 2025. Sunset's going to be at 9:04 p.m. When we get into the depths of winter, the sun sets at like 5. It's really hard to do. I will sometimes get out and do some hot tent camping, or I'll take like a half a vacation day or something like that from work if I really want to do this. But to be quite honest, in the winter months, I'm not doing the weeknight camp out quite as much as I am during the spring, summer, and fall. And it has nothing to do with the weather and everything to do with just how early it gets dark. Finally, what I'm doing back here, right there, sleeping in the Subaru is awesome for this, because in the morning I don't have to worry about taking down a tent or anything like that, right? I just gather up the few things that I left out overnight, stuff them in the car, and I get on the road. I don't have any build or anything. This is a 2021 Subaru Outback. I literally just lay the seats down, throw some old sleeping bags and a sleeping pad down and sleep on top of that. You don't need anything special to sleep in your vehicle. That's it. Oh, number 6, if you like beers, bring beers, you know, yeah. But if not, you know, get yourself a nice soda or like a pack of gum or something. I'm just kidding. Beer is not required to enjoy this experience. I enjoy having a couple beers when I do this, but it's not a necessary part of the experience. That's the how. Those are some tips to help you make the weeknight campout happen. Having a Twix. You know what they say, a Twix a day keeps the doctor away. Isn't it? Is it Twix or is it, shoot, it might be some type of fruit. Oh, crap. I'm in the vehicle. Gonna relax for a little bit, but then go to sleep. The next thing you're gonna see is a night lapse from the GoPro, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Good night. Good morning. Gonna do a quick breakfast today of some toast and coffee. So let's get it going and then let's get on the road. So yeah, we're doing avocado toast, and I've got some of this everything bagel seasoning. Coffee in the percolator. We're on our way. While that toast is toasting and the coffee is perking, I'm going to take down the tarp and get some stuff put away here. Okay, I got everything put away except for the kitchen stuff. Got my avocado toast done here. See, I don't only eat unhealthy stuff, right? And it's the avocado toast and the fact that I only had 2 brats last night that'll help me live past 50. Pretty much cancels out, you know, the beers and stuff. That's what my doctor told me. So I'm gonna eat this. Well, I'll give you the coffee. Cheers. Cheers. Gonna eat this, drink my coffee. It is 6:34. I need to be on the road by 7 at least. I need to stop at my home on the way to work, shower, get a fresh pair of clothes, and then get into work. We gotta be there by 8:30. So I'm not gonna make you watch me eat this, but I am gonna catch up with you in just a couple of minutes. We'll see if we make it to work on time. That's a wrap. Campsite's all cleaned up. Let's get on the road. 6:48.